I don't know what this is about. Well, obviously it's about a girl on the wall, right? So, anyways, you know. Boo! Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You're fucking loud.
Victoria.
1982, on the 30th of December, right between Christmas and New Year's Eve, a little girl named Katie Beers was born in the town of Mastic Beach, Long Island. But to people familiar with this case, she's ended up being known as the girl in the wall.
What?
He threw me on the bed. I just want my daughter back.
What?
Bring her back. And then I was screaming
shit.
brains out.
I heard her say a man was coming after her with a knife, and she said, oh my God, here he comes.
He started kissing me.
Oh no. Are you serious? Oh my God.
Our biggest concern is that we find this child, you know, well and safe.
My hand hit a nail.
The last time I seen her was when she was walking towards the machine.
Yo, chat, what's your thoughts on, like... Actually, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that.
Locks me in that little cubby hole.
Kidnapped, assaulted, trapped, and chained up, 9-year-old Katie Beers was abandoned by her mom, then used as a slave by her godmother and her sexually deviant husband.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What the fuck is this family? Hello? Hello? What the? So her mom abandoned her for her godmother, and the godmother's husband is the weirdo? I mean, they're all weird, but like, I don't want to, you know, say the R word.
Before eventually getting kidnapped and trapped in an underground.
And then she got, yo, all this happening to you at 9 years old is crazy. Bro, I hope is she still alive? I hope she's well, man.
For over 3 weeks, the Long Island police dug deep into this menagerie of characters, each more suspicious than the next, in hopes of getting their hands on the captive 9-year-old.
She's behind the wall. If she's behind the wall, she's not alive.
But to their surprise, she was already at it. She knew how to save herself.
Yes, sir.
She tried every strategy she could to make him change his mind and ultimately prevailed. And this little girl at 10 years old changed a kidnapper's mind.
In the small hamlet
of
Shore, Long Island, busy little girl Katie is living a Cinderella-like existence. Since her mother abandoned her, she has been enslaved by her godmother, Linda, and her husband, Sal.
I was their servant, whether it was
she is a
laundry, to
okay.
clean the bathrooms, to cook dinner. That was my purpose to her growing up. I was pretty much her slave.
But her service to Linda was the least of her concern, since the real monster in that house was none other than her own uncle.
From the time that I was 2 years old, I was sexually abused by my godmother's husband.
When she was 7 years old,
that's so weird, bro. I don't like. That's just weird, bro. I don't understand how you look at a kid and just think like, bro.
And she tried to tell her godmother the truth about her husband, but her reaction only made it worse.
She told me that I was a liar and to get out of her face.
Katie wasn't allowed to attend school and grew up completely isolated. The only friend.
She like me, and like being isolated, like in a way, like we're like I don't go outside. I only go outside to take out the fucking trash and shit. That's it.
Had was John Esposito, the typical family friend, but to her, their relationship was special.
I really didn't have any friends my own age. I think in my childhood, the thing that probably made me the happiest was when I got to spend time with John. I would say I loved him. He was always a confidant, somebody that I would trust.
Amid all of the abuse she already had to go through, Katie's life was about to take a turn for the worse.
2 days before my 10th birthday, I was abducted.
On that day, Katie was left with John, and together they went to Spaceplex, her favorite place in all of Long Island.
At Spaceplex, you can ride motorcycles, shoot baskets, or even ride a dinosaur.
For my 10th birthday, it was going to be just Big John and I.
John was nicknamed Big John by the local kids because he was a well-known member of the Big Brother Big Sister program.
Whenever we would go to Spaceplex, I was happy. There was never really a care. There were kids running all over the place.
But her birthday would soon turn sour as the worst thing.
Bro, I feel like a parent's worst, like that's literally a parent's worst fear. Like you take your kid to like some like place that's supposed to be fun, and then they end up going missing. That shit was like, oh my god, I don't know, like, that's just that's other shit, bro.
Could ever happen to a child
Can't
came
do
to
like,
be.
Katie.
Bro, what the fuck?
That voice, calling out Katie's name, is Linda, her godmother. But while she was contacting the police, they were already on the scene with Big John at Spaceplex. They evacuated the site and searched for the rest of the day, but all of these efforts were in vain.
He picked me up and carried me into the closet where I realized he was opening up a door to expose a tunnel.
Whoever got their hands on her was an extremely apt individual. That tunnel was set up behind the walls of his house,
Bro,
and
what
carefully
the
crafted
fuck?
by an expert. Katie was forced to crawl until she reached a trap door.
And then he exposes this hole and he opens up this door into this room. The only word that I have to describe this room was a dungeon, a place that I couldn't escape.
Inside, Katie saw a dirty mattress in a makeshift, soundproof casket, surrounded by chains.
My captor looked at me and said, "This is your home now."
I heard her say a man was coming after her with a knife, and she said, oh my God, here he comes. So by the time I picked up the phone to talk to her, I got nothing.
This is all of what the godmother Linda had
Bruh.
to say about the ominous call she received on the day of the abduction.
I can't read that, man.
To concern Dominic
Like, can you read it for me? I don't.
Verone, the head of the Long Island Police Kidnapping Division.
By the time she gets to the machine, Katie had already hung up. That disturbed me because there's been a lot of times when these abductions are not really abductions. They're made to look like abductions.
And statistically, he was right,
You saw this young girl around?
as over 95% of kidnappings are actually perpetrated by close family members. But this wasn't the only unusual thing about that.
Why would you do that? What? So like some people fake abductions? What the hell? For what?
Call.
It just struck me as not believable. And I immediately was disturbed by the fact that a 9-year-old child would use the word kidnap. Also, how does a 9-year-old child get away from an abductor and able to use the telephone?
But he had to put his suspicions on the side for now. The priority was Katie, as every minute counted in that kind of case. They needed to find her, and fast.
As much as I was concerned about some of the problems with the call, you did hear a girl in distress. This girl was in danger.
There was absolutely no trace of Katie at Spaceplex, almost as if she was never there. The only clue they had was the recording of Katie's distressed call to Linda, so Verone decided to bring out the big guns.
We sent the audio tape of that telephone call, as well as the device that it was recorded on, to the FBI.
While he was waiting for the FBI, Verone continued his investigation. Naturally, he started by looking into the most likely suspects.
The main players were Marilyn Beers, the natural mother, a dysfunctional, incompetent mother, Linda Engelary, the godmother.
My main concern is to let people know how much I cared for her.
You did not care for. Yo, shut the fuck up. You was using her as a slave, buddy. You was kind of like, yo, clean my bathroom, clean the shit, you know, and make me a meal, you know. It's like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Bro, that's the yo. I hate, bro.
He was used by the godmother to run all kinds of errands. Sal Engelary had been charged with sexual abuse on Katie Beers.
The little girl don't want to live in Mastic Beach with her
mother.
But there was also a fourth suspect, outside of the family, the last man to see her before the abduction.
John Esposito, not a relative, but a family friend. He said something dirty happened.
The FBI eventually shared what they found with him. It seemed that Katie's call was made from a phone booth in front of Spaceplex, which is weird since they still had found no trace of her inside of the recreation center, and she apparently tried to call Linda 19 times before she decided to leave a message on her answering machine. But all of these clues were nothing compared to the result of the audio analysis the FBI carried out on the call.
I never forget the call I got from the scientist at the FBI lab who gave me the next bit of breaking news. It wasn't actually Katie who broke free and made that call. It was a recording. It was someone who tape recorded Katie and wanted us to believe, or it to seem, that the call came from that telephone booth next to Spaceplex.
Wait, what?
The detective was starting to put the pieces together, and it became evident that the culprit fooled them all. The kidnapping of Katie has been used
what?
as something far more sinister.
The phone call was a scripted plot by an individual to make us think that Katie Beers was abducted.
Back at the dungeon, Katie knew what was going to happen and decided to fight.
Wait, whoa. Whoa. What the fuck is this, bro? What the fuck is this, man? This is fucked.
She noticed the door of the casket was loose and went at it.
Eventually I had kicked it long enough and hard enough that snapped, and I was able to kind of safely exit.
To her, this was such a breakthrough. She thought she may finally be able to find a way to escape, almost forgetting that the casket was.
But there's gonna be a but.
Then I had nowhere to go. I remember trying to like go on the shelf and see if there was anything there that I could use for some sort of self-defense, and there were a bunch of keys up there. So unknowingly, I grabbed one of those keys and hid it underneath the mattress.
Before she had the chance to try to come up with a way to confront him, she heard him coming. It was too late now, as the footsteps started to get louder.
Oh God.
And louder.
As soon as he came down, he saw the door open, and he then raped me for the first time.
Oh no. Bro. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. Bro.
Rest of her time in captivity, her abductor would assault her multiple times, every day.
Every day?
We won't be covering any of her subsequent assaults.
I was able to have the TV on 24/7. It was on the news that I saw that the police had figured out where the call had come from.
Bro.
I knew that it was pre-recorded.
This information led the police to put together a few theories regarding Katie's whereabouts.
There were still questions we had.
Meanwhile, Katie was able to hear each of her family members' testimonies by watching the news, starting with Marilyn, her biological mother.
Just my daughter back.
Bro, huh? Wait, she said the biological one. Didn't she abandon her? What? These fake ass tears, bro. What are you talking about?
When I saw Marilyn on the news, I think I cried a lot, because I could see in her eyes that she had missed me and that she wanted me to be found. That gave me some relief and some hope.
Her mother was convinced that Linda and Sal were behind the kidnapping because they lost her custody after she filed charges against Sal for Katie's sexual abuse.
Our biggest concern is that we find this child, well and safe.
When Sal, my godmother's husband, was on the news saying that he wanted me to be found, I was angry.
If anyone had motive for her to be abducted or murdered, it was he who faced serious criminal charges for sexual abuse.
But Verone wasn't so quick to jump to conclusions, as he also had good reasons to believe that not only Marilyn could be the culprit, but that she may also have tried to frame someone else for her alleged
Her
crime.
mother, Marilyn Beers, and Little John, Katie's brother, became aware of what was going on with Katie, and there was ample motive that they may set up an abduction just to get her.
Yo, this whole thing is like a whole bunch of plot twists.
Have Katie make the phone call, tape record it, put it right there, and leave John Esposito holding the bags.
After a while, the investigation...
This whole family's fucked up.
Down. Each and every one of them had solid alibis, and no clues were discovered at any of their residences, so the police started to look into the last man on the...
What the fuck? Yo!
list, the most unlikely suspect.
The investigators retraced John Esposito's footsteps, but it was 30 minutes to an hour that we couldn't fully explain and appreciate. We obtained a search warrant and did a full inspection of John Esposito's residence, but there was no evidence of a crime.
The background check came in the next day and turned out to be extremely suspicious. Once they contacted the Big Brother Big Sisters Association, the program the suspect proudly claimed to be a member of, they learned the dark truth about Big John.
John Esposito
painted
himself as a Big Brother. Detectives discovered that he tried to join that organization, and they did a background investigation on him. We learned that he had been involved in abduction of a 7-year-old child.
God damn it, John! John, what the bro? Oh my god. Bro, you can't trust nobody. Like, you really can't trust no one. Shit is fucking weird, bro. People are fucking weird and strange and like act like you're friends, but they're not really your friends, bro. She's crazy.
15 years prior to Katie's disappearance, and they ruled him out as being a big brother. We were ramping up the pressure on him, following him wherever he went.
This caught the attention of the media, who also started to scour around his house.
Police searched Esposito's property, the main house and the converted garage out back where he actually lived.
I knew that the #1 suspect was Esposito. I could see the news was camped out in front of his house.
And if you haven't guessed yet, the kidnapper was, in fact, John Esposito, aka Big John.
Of course. A fucking course. Fucking course. I mean, like, of course. He was the only nigga that brought her to the shit. Like, bruh.
All along, the man Katie called her best friend was actually planning and scheming until the day he finally kidnapped her.
Big John was probably the last person that I could have imagined having ever hurt me in such a way.
Katie was relieved that the police finally got on the right track, but at this point, Verone doesn't have anything to incriminate Esposito. And even worse, he still had no idea what he did with Katie.
As each day went by, they were becoming more convinced that what we were going to find was not live Katie Beers, but a body of Katie Beers.
A few days later, Katie woke up in the dungeon.
What's good, Maddie?
I had put a chain around my neck. I had realized that the key that I had grabbed was actually for the padlock, so I was able to at least release myself. Prior to unattaching it, I would count how many links were on the end of it and up to the wall as well.
Okay, smart.
Coming, she would quickly chain herself up again in the exact same way he did, but this tended to happen less and less since the police, convinced that he was behind her disappearance, almost never left him alone. Instead, they kept an extremely tight surveillance schedule around him and his house, and Verone even went inside to interrogate him.
And I could see it drain out of his face, the concern. I was very disturbed and very concerned that John Esposito had something to do with her abduction.
Yo, Katie's smart as fuck at that age. I'd probably be, I wouldn't get saved, I'm not gonna lie. I probably wouldn't get saved. I was a dumbass kid, bro. I probably get fucking like I probably die. To be honest, I'm not making it out of this. She's smart as fuck. Good shit for her.
As to Katie, but the little girl knew better.
Let's make police believe that you're dead. Play dead, I'll take a picture of you. Once police see that, they'll give up on you. And Katie, the bright little girl, wise little girl that she was, knew that that could be her death sentence. And she refused to play dead and let him take a picture of her.
From that point on, I rarely slept, and I also did not eat any of the food that he could have altered because I was fearful that he might put something in the food, a sedative, a sleeping pill. Something.
Yo, see, like my dumbass would have ate the food. I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. Yes, please. And I'm dead. Then I'm playing dead. And then boom, the cops are like, bro, my dumbass would have ate the food. Like, bro, how the fuck she know all this shit at 9 years old? Like, what the fuck?
Thing. So that way he was able to get the photo that he wanted, so the police would stop looking for me.
After this, Katie decided to confront him, to barrage him with questions in hopes of making him realize the insanity behind his actions.
How I was going to go to school, what I was going to do to survive. I wanted to get married and have kids. And he would always have witty remarks right away, like, oh, you'll have kids with me, you'll marry me, you'll do this with me. So I would always tell him, no, I don't want to do that.
I was disgusted. I was 10 years old. I was trying to get him to think about the long term of him kidnapping me.
Esposito began to crack. Between the overwhelming police presence, Barone constantly tailing him, and Katie's incessant nagging and questioning, he confided to her that he was planning to either end his life or run away. She knew that if she let it happen, he would probably kill her or leave her to die in the dungeon.
I told him that I was sick and I wasn't feeling well. I think between the police department laying on him at his house all the time and my questions and then me saying that I wasn't feeling well finally wore him down.
So all of this pressure is mounting. He finally speaks to his
Damn.
He says, I have something very important to tell you. And he tells him, I know where Katie is. And the attorney says, what do you mean? He says, she's behind the wall.
And this is where Varone,
yo, what?
Involved in the case, understood that
Good night, Ren. Sleep well. Wait, you going to bed at 8:25? Yeah, you're a fucking granny. Holy shit.
But an actual mastermind.
Esposito escorted police and the district attorney through all the steps of unearthing the dungeon, and police watched incredulously as he went through this 30-plus step process of revealing the dungeon
what the hell?
built.
There was a bookshelf with wheels on it, and you'd have to pull that out. And then there was vinyl laid on the floor, and you pull the vinyl back. And then there is a 200-pound concrete block that's there. And you had to know to go into the garage and get this block and tackle to hook it in the ceiling, to hook it into the 200-pound block.
What the fuck?
And then raise this block up. And then you drop down about 7 foot into this underground chamber. And then there's a passageway. And as you crawl, you dropped into this underground chamber where Katie was kept.
Apparently, this
what?
affair had been in preparation for years before he took her.
I had realized that I had actually played in this underground dungeon while it was being built. So he had this vision to build this underground dungeon. And when he had this vision, it was specifically to kidnap me.
When Varone finally broke in, Katie couldn't believe what was happening to her.
What the fuck
door opened
is wrong with this nigga? Bro, what the fuck? How do you think, bro? So nobody, bro, obviously you had to like alter like the fucking terrain and shit. Nobody like thought about like, oh, what the fuck is he building? Or like anything like that? Nobody noticed? Does he have neighbors? Or is it just in some secluded ass area, bro?
And there was a man that I didn't recognize. And I remember them saying, we're the police, you're safe now.
I was just overjoyed. She was alive.
You all right, Katie?
Verone was similarly surprised, but for a different reason.
We were amazed. You see a 9-year-old look like she just come back from a trip to the movies. She's sitting in the sofa, bubbly, upbeat, and we just knew from that moment on that she was going to be a survivor.
Now in the hands of the police, Katie finally revealed the truth about what happened.
You were supposed to do the safe but never did.
John Esposito had confessed to everything. Esposito was convicted of kidnapping in the first degree, and he was sentenced to 15 years to life.
Not
only
did the
15?
Detective save her from Esposito, but throughout his investigation,
Like, this is shit I'm talking about, bro. Bro, what do you mean 15 to life? Why not just life? Or like, bro, I don't understand. I don't understand this. I don't understand.
all of the abuse
I don't understand that system,
at the hands
bro.
of the people who were supposed to take care of her and decided to place her into foster care.
I entered foster care as soon as I was released from captivity, and that was a salvation for me. I had a mom, I had a dad, I had brothers and sisters. It was absolutely fantastic.
They also continued the legal procedure against her Uncle Sal and successfully put him behind bars.
Nice.
To this day, Katie will always be grateful towards Verone, as he saved her in more ways than one.
For 17 days, I was his life. He was one of the ones that just did not give up, and I'm
Fire,
grateful
man.
of the relationship that I have with him.
I wrote a letter to Katie after the whole thing was over. Dear Catherine, I don't know you very well, but what I do know is enough to show you as a remarkable young girl with a strong determination to live. My only wish is that we could have found you sooner and you didn't have to be down there so long. Not many adults could endure or survive what you went through. Be proud and consider.
Nah, that's actually like, bro, no, bro, most people would crack, like, not crack, but like, they wouldn't make it out. I wouldn't make it out. Yo, Brittany. All right, bet. I didn't right fucking now. Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? We stream, feel what I'm saying? And that's cool little hour and a half. Cool little hour and a half, feel me? Oh wait, I gotta finish this recording. I'm not even done with the shit.
I know you will be successful.
And then I'm gonna end.
In the
Why
end,
did nigga mouth
she was
shake
a
like
true
that?
survivor.
Why did they just put that in there? What the fuck was that? What was that? Why
In the
they?
end, she
Okay.
was a true survivor, refusing to let her past bring her down. Instead, she achieved everything she ever hoped for.
My life is exactly what I had always wanted. 2 parents who love me, and
It's fire,
a husband and
man.
2 kids, and a wonderful family. I'm tearing up.
He tried to trap and use her, but she liberated herself. Today, she is a best-selling author and works with the National Center for Missing and Exploited
I
Children.
think the best part of my story
Nice,
is
amazing ending. W ending.
that you can recover and you can persevere, and your life is 100% what you make it to be.
She wants every survivor of any kind of abuse to know that they are more than what happened to them.
I was determined to not let my childhood traumas come into my adulthood. They've shaped me to who I am, but they don't define me.
Saul was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison for molesting Katie. He died in prison on Feb. I mean, R.I.P. I mean, like, rest in peace. 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 Stop. Stop. Stop, chat. Stop. 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 John Esposito finally admitted to the parole board that he sexually assaulted Katie Beers. He died in prison the very same day? Damn. Yo, chat. Chill, bro. It's not funny, man.
And I put on one ass to the mirror, right?
Oh my gosh, that was another, yo, Katie is a fucking trooper. Cause I know damn well I'd be fucking dead in 2 seconds.